This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrill. I am Anthony Mormino on this Thursday, January 30th with the New York Racing Association. Back in the mix, Seth, with their new schedule. Kind of, as I said, I like it. Wednesdays are sort of nice with the two South Florida tracks, so that that was the whole made by Naira and the Big A going to Monday versus Wednesday, and obviously Aqueduct just props up Monday rather nicely, even on days I'm sure when Taylor Rice won't win 4 in a day. And Seth, I had mentioned about her riding. I liked a couple of things I saw. I thought one day she showed her youthfulness. I don't think she knew where the track was the good running. She had a horse out there winging it on the front end and uncontested lead. I thought that if she had kind of drifted out to about the third or fourth path where I thought the running was clearly best that day, but she took the shortest way around the track. But I liked what I saw, and I thought that was just a mistake that can be corrected, and that she got her momentum going, and she got herself into Linda Rice's barn, and she won 3 of them on the front end on Monday afternoon at the Big A.
Yeah, it's nice to get tied in with a trainer like Linda Rice. I wonder how that worked out.
Yeah.
Actually, for folks who don't know, she's Linda Rice's niece. But then on Monday, 2 for Linda Rice, but 1 for David Jacobson, 1 for Dominic Galuccio. You get teamed in with those guys as well. It could be a pretty good winter season for her. And one of the articles I read yesterday made a great point. First of all, Manny Franco lost his apprentice allowance.
About 2 weeks ago.
So, next on the totem pole that may be interesting is another apprentice that came in from Chicago, is Emmanuel Escovel. Well, he loses the apprentice coming up very shortly as well. So she may be the 800-pound, 5-pound apprentice in the jocks room for the winter season.
Life is timing.
She was looking at coming here for the winter season and maybe going back to Chicago, where she had been riding just before coming to New York. But I guess now the game plan is, at this point, maybe don't have to pack the bags again. She may stick around. And she was actually interviewed. My Loose on the Lead partner, Steve Vick, had her on his radio show yesterday, so you can pull up the archives there, get a little conversation with her. But things are looking good for her. Yeah, and it is all about timing.
Yeah, and now here, I was watching the racing yesterday, and it was a fun day. Now, remember, it was Wednesday afternoon, not a Monday or a Tuesday, major operations. Seth, if I give you 3 horses' name, can you tie them in? These are the 3 horses' name: Proud Chrome, Laura Beasley, and my horse, of course.
I have no idea.
I'm rather sure there were 3 turf races conducted in the United States yesterday. They won them at Turf Paradise. If Turf Paradise had one of those protect the turf course days yesterday, there would have been no turf racing in the United States yesterday, because as you saw, Gulfstream Park lost it, and Tampa Bay lost it, and Tampa was one of those funny situations. The dirt course looked great. Now, that wasn't the case at Gulfstream Park.
They labeled it good, though. It did look fine.
Yeah, but it looked, fine. And I always think of it this way. You haven't been inundated with rain, so I was just surprised. But yesterday, 3, and I was teasing Seth that, a couple of weeks in a row when I did Turf Paradise, I was like wondering if they were saving their turf course for like a Breeders' Cup Hope pitch, but they didn't use it for a long time. And Seth was telling me that they had a big day coming up, I presume the Cotton Fitzsimmons Mile. And yesterday they ran 3 races. It was only about 6 or 7 tracks that ran yesterday. A couple of them don't have a turf course, and one is Penn National. They're not going to run turf races this time of year, Laurel. And I have a question for you. Was that Dave Rodman at Laurel yesterday?
It was close enough that I wasn't sure either, but it was close enough.
Well, not only that, there's all announcers, all co-hosts of the Handicappers. We all have our idiosyncrasies, and I didn't hear too many of Dave's getting picked up, because sometimes you have a cold, your voice changes, etc. But I didn't.
He's on board with me today. I'll ask him. I'll
Well,
check
yeah.
in.
Well, if he was on board with you, then I think that must have been him yesterday. But it didn't sound.
Well, it could have been
like
a day
that.
off for some reason or
Yeah.
another. I mean, that's possible. But and I didn't hear a bunch of the races, but I noticed one or two I heard, and I thought kind of the same thing. It was close, but not necessarily on the money. So.
And just as a quick note, if you happen to be watching the Handicappers Report yesterday and happen to be watching the third race at Tampa Bay, trust Jeff Carl, who not only had the winner, the word is pronounced estuary. I don't know what our man down in Tampa Bay came up with. It wasn't the horse's debut, but trust me, waterway, I thought a rather common word in the English language, but estuary, who Jeff Carl had on top yesterday, won the third race. I'll tell you how bad it was for me, Seth, because what I do is I basically put up 3 tracks and just I navigate the sound. I didn't know who he was talking about. I didn't know who he was calling, so I had to go get the PPs for Tampa's third race up, and I'm like, well, it's got to be estuary. It wasn't estuary to the masses, and I've always said this before, who had already debuted once before, and not at Tampa to get the pronunciation, but that went a little south. Seth, it's not official yet, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be off the turf at Gulfstream Park today.
Yeah, I have some dirt picks that I've tossed in just in case, so we'll see. And just before we get to the handicapping, the experimental free handicap came out yesterday. A little bit of an anachronism, but if you still plug that into your Derby thoughts, New Year's Day was the top male 126, Havana shared belief 125, honor code 124. So the Jockey Club's experimental free handicap is out. You can check that out.
Is it still just 3 racing secretaries? I'm sure they've changed over the years because I think the other guys are retired now.
I don't know.
The guys
I
that
don't
did it
know
when
what
I
the
was a young
panel
man.
is. Yeah, I don't know what the panel is exactly. But as I said, it's a little bit of an anachronism in this day and age. But there was, of course, the dual qualifiers, and you could tie in the experiment. There was that handicapping angle going back to when I first got into the game, which was an interesting handicapping angle to go with. But I think, especially over the last 10 years, it has dosage and whatnot. It's not quite the same as it was going back 15 or 20 years ago. So
Here's one for you. I don't pay much attention to that, but I do remember the year Ferdinand won it. Only 2 horses qualified, and these 2 horses couldn't be more diverse. And I will give you one. One was Ferdinand, which was kind of nice because he was a big price. The other, it pains me to say this, which really made me doubt it, Groovy.
Oh.
They sort of lost me when it was Groovy and Ferdinand as the dual qualifiers. Because
Groovy looked good on that angle for about, the first half a mile?
For 6 furlongs, he was pretty good. That was it. But Groovy, who's had the heart the size of a pea, and really 6 was his best, 7 was okay, and that was it. You ready to go?
I am.
Okay, as I said, I think you're going to hear they're off the turf at Gulfstream Park early this morning. I have great faith in that, but as I said, the racing office in Gulfstream Park didn't call me on my cell phone yet. In the opener, 4-year-olds and up, claimers in for $12,500, dashing 6.5.
Just to go back to yesterday, it was an okay day yesterday at Gulfstream. 4 for 9 on top of it. They were chalky, and you could have mixed some things up and hit some gimmicks in there, but they didn't offer a lot of value either. And the 4 included a couple that he had to watch TV. I switched up the turf races yesterday as well and added some dirt picks in, like I'll do today, and a couple of those came through. But again, 4 for 10 actually. 4 for 10.
Did he get the welcome back to the races Johnny V winner?
Yes. He was on the crazy Todd Pletcher short horse, right? Yeah, got lucky. Which I said,
280.
Yeah, if I had to make not a best bet, but a most likely winner, that would have been it yesterday, and that's the way it turned out. Even though the horse broke poorly,
yeah.
Still just kind of outclassed the field. All right, in the opener today, I have it 9, 2, 3, and 7. Skibo in July, the number 9 horse on top, and ran well at this level last time. Was sitting in second by over 5 lengths, but was well clear of the third place finisher. So got some class relief to this level last time. It seems to have shown that this is kind of the comfort zone. So Skibo in July on top. Second spot, the number 2, Cat's My Song. Tossed in a dud last time, but I think the prior numbers are good enough. That last just looks like enough of an aberration to me that I'm going to forgive that. And again, go back to the numbers and the performances tossed in just prior. So Cat's My Song in the mix, and then Kusada in the third spot. This is the second off the layoff and gets some additional class relief today. I like the move to Paco Lopez as well. So again, mainly the second off the layoff angle. This horse, I think, got some conditioning last time from the June to January break, and now will be maybe a little bit tighter. And again, some additional class relief will help too. First at Gulfstream, I have it 9, 2, 3, and 7.
On to the second half of the early daily double. We have 4-year-olds and up. Fillies and Mares, maiden claimers in for 12-5. On the dirt, racing 7.
4, 1, 7, and 2. The number 4 is Lori's Image. And I was a little bit dicey on this because this horse, I'm dicey on the jockey, not on the last race. The last race beaten by 15 lengths, I think, darkens this horse's form a little bit because the last one was just a runaway winner. This horse was a couple lengths clear to the third place finisher. So again, I think that last race is maybe a little bit better than it looks. And it was done at this level. So I think this horse has found the proper level at 12.5. My concern was the 7-pound bug. I'm just, I don't like to jump on these 10 or 7-pound apprentices until, or let me say, not until, unless they show some real early promise. And so I was a little bit dicey on this, on the jockey. But again, I think this horse will be a decent fit today. So I use Lori's Image with a little bit of trepidation. Second spot, we will go to the number 1, Alondra Sky, goes turf to dirt, and this one, I think the jock switch is a bonus, moves from a 10-pound apprentice to a journeyman jock. So I like the turf to dirt move, I like the cutback in distance, and I like the jockey switch to a journeyman on top. In the third spot, we'll go with Sophia Leonore, the number 7 horse. Last couple were not too much, but there's some back numbers there that say this horse may be better than we've seen in the last couple. But the last 2 also just may signify that this horse is going in the wrong direction. So I was a little bit leery of this one as well. It's that kind of race. I left off 5-2 on the morning line, Zanjira. That one may surprise. The numbers looked a little light to me, but I could make a case for that when the horse in my 4th spot has a 10-pound apprentice on board. So it's one of those races that may turn out to be a little chaotic, but I wound up going 4, 1, 7, and 2.
There's one out at Santa Anita right now, Drayden Van Dyke, just like dropped in from the moon or something and just like lighting it up. Not, Carson Sullivan not going as well down at Gulfstream Park, but this Drayden Van Dyke, no space between the N and the D, has popped on the scene at Santa Anita, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
every once in a while you'll get a 10-pound or a 7-pound that all of a sudden maybe get teamed up at the right, or they'll get hot, and then you're okay. I'll ride them through that first 30, and they'll hit my radar. But most of them, they have the 10 and the 7-pound for a reason. And by the time they get to 5, you got a good feeling of how well they're doing.
And it's funny, I always think this time of year, I know it's 37 years ago, but I am old, that this was the time when Carther was going so well. They put it on the news. He was going great back in 77 in the winter. On to the third. Fillies and Mares, optional claimers 35. Starter allowance also the 35. On the dirt, racing the 1-turn mile.
Wasn't Coughlin also Sports Illustrated Sportsman
Yes,
of the Year?
he was.
Yeah, I mean,
1977.
Think of that. Jeez, jockey.
What do you think the chances are now?
Yeah, exactly. And I said that A.P. McCoy over in Europe was the Irish Sportsman of the Year, named just recently, obviously a year-end award. And I headlined it on Equidaily, something like that. What do you think that's going to happen? Not only a jockey, a jump jockey is the Sportsman of the Year in Ireland. Yeah. But we had that happen here in this country, just not in a while, and probably not in the foreseeable future. 6, 1, 3, and 8 in the third. The number 6 horse is Sharp Words. I think both of the top 2 in here are pretty evenly matched, and I kind of went back and forth. Sharp Words, the number 6 horse, and the number 1, Run Hide My Girl. Both ran at the 25 level last time, maiden 25 level last time. Both won nicely. Both did it with some decent numbers. So, I think they're evenly matched. I just tilted a little in favor of Sharp Words off of the January 24th Bullet workout, and the trainer is going better at the meet. So I had a hard time separating these two. I think they were both impressive enough in their maiden breakers that they're going to fit very nicely with this field. And I just tilted a little in favor of Sharp Words on the workout and the trainer. Third spot, Gdansk, the number 3 horse. Only question mark here is the surface. This is a horse that in 7 career starts has so far made 5 of them on synthetics, a couple on turf. So the dirt today is a little bit of a question mark. But on class, I think this horse is going to be a decent fit with this bunch. Just it will be the question of, will this horse take to dirt? In the third, Gulfstream, 6, 1, 3, and 8.
And on to the fourth race. I'm not saying they're off the turf, but I would not invest any time on turf pedigrees on the fourth race. Their temporary rails are up at 108 feet, which is the popular distance. When they sprint, 5 on the turf.
And I did this with some of the turf races yesterday. Some of them I switch up. These maiden races, a lot of times, they just tend to stay the same. And I'm going to stick with my top 4, one way or the other, turf or dirt. 4, 9, 5, and 10. The number 4 is the first-time starter, Wild Mooch, with Wildcat Air on top. I think you have some precocious breeding. This one has a sibling called Me Kugat, 5th in the career debut, then 2nd, then 6th, then 2nd, then 1. So it took 5 to get the first win of the career, but also had a couple of seconds in those first 5 starts. Another sibling called Me Lauren that was 2nd in the debut and then 1. So I think the bottom side also says precociousness. The trainer doesn't have a lot of stats necessarily first time out of the box, but can get it done. I'll take a little shot with the number 4, Wild Mooch, in here. Second spot, the number 9, Strategic Keeper. Drops for very potent connections. You have Chad Brown, you have Klarovich Stables. They are win early connections. This one debuted in maiden special weight company at Aqueduct. Moved to the 35 level last time at Gulfstream and ran very well. Takes another step down the claiming ladder. And again, the connections like to win early. So I think this horse is going to be very, very interesting. Now, that said, for me, the cutbacks are kind of interesting and are maybe a plus most of the time, but a cutback from going 2 turns on the turf to a turf sprint is maybe a little bit of a concern because, as I've said a number of times, these 5-furlong turf sprints are kind of a specialty. So I'm not sure the cutback is as much of a bonus here, maybe a little more of a concern, but I'm kind of hanging my hat again on the win early connections. Third spot, we'll go with the number 5, Little Tom, just the maiden special weight to maiden claim angle. Showed some nice punch last time out. And off of the class relief, that punch may be a little more potent today. I'm going to do a win place on my top pick. We'll do a play of the day, win place on number 4, and then we'll also toss in a 4-horse exacta box. And again, I'll stick with it either way. I'll probably be a little more cautious if they go over to the main track, but I'll play this either way, turf or dirt. Box up 4, 9, 5, and 10. Do a little win place on the number 4.
On to the 5th race, scheduled for a mile on the turf for claimers in for 35,000. Show you how sharp. You don't like to play the handicap who's going to scratch, but you look at Ken Ramsey, who has the uncoupled entry of the 1 and the 2. I think he was playing it this way, Seth. If I had to bet on this race, and I had to bet before who's going to run, I think the 2 is going. I think the 1 is staying in the barn.
I have it 8, 2, 10, and 4. I'm going to use the 10 either way. On my dirt picks, I'll give it a moment. I just switched up some of my turf picks a little bit. But again, on turf, 8, 2, 10, and 4. The number 8 is Baba Brett. They certainly had some ambitions for this horse. Started the career in a couple of stakes races up at Woodbine. Followed it up with a couple of maiden special weight events, and then finally dropped in for a tag and broke the maiden. I think this horse might be able to string a couple together, having found the comfort zone now at 35,000. We'll go to second spot. We will go to the number 2, the Ken Ramsey horse, Hurricane Pass. And as you say, this may be a voodoo look up at the sky and try to decide which way things are going, and he may go with 1 on turf and 1 on dirt.
May I interrupt you here for a second? I only speak to that also because last summer, Andy Serling was doing the radio show that we at Capital Off Track Betting were involved in, and he had Ken Ramsey on. Many of us know Ken Ramsey's a bettor, which is great. And he sort of tipped his hand because remember in New York, your MTOs get parked outside. But Ken, who is a sharp guy, he kind of tipped his hand that part of his MO is he does this move. I mean, I haven't, that's why I sort of gave that opinion that he has already showed us in the public that he's going to enter horses in purposely with, the idea that it's not going to be the turf race. and he knows that in New York he could be caught like in the 9 or 10 post position. So he kind of showed us that he's going to play this way, and Andy kind of called him out on it. So he goes, "You have no intention of running the turf race," so on and so forth. So, but Ken Ramsey let the whole world know that he plays the game that way.
And I have no objections to that, actually.
Absolutely.
I think that's clever. Although down here in Florida, you get put into the field, I believe, in Gulfstream.
You do it, and I've said it for years in New York. Just do that in New York.
Yeah.
Just do it in New York.
Because it definitely is a negative for those horses that are MTOs to get strung on the outside. Although most of the time they
It's a 5-horse field
move in
anyways.
significantly. But I will use Hurricane Pass either way. I think this horse is kind of interesting. First off the claim for those potent Ramsey Maker connections. This horse does have some turf starts and showed a little bit of ability on the turf. So again, coming back first off the claim for the connections attracted my attention. And in the third spot, again, if this one goes on the turf, I'm going to use it. If this one goes on the dirt, I'm going to use it. Predicting the number 10 horse goes out for Michael Matz. And I just think in the fourth career start, this horse maybe just seems to be getting the hang of it. Beat maidens in the career debut. And subsequently, as I say, I just think this horse is kind of figuring it out against winners and limited winners. So we'll use predicting in the mix as well. As I say, my dirt picks are just juggling things up a little bit. On the turf, I'm going to go 8, 2, 10, and 4. If it does switch over to the dirt, I'll go 4, 2, and 10.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, second half of today's action from Gulfstream Park.
I'm Seth Merrill. Join me weekdays at 10 for Racing Across America. We'll look at important races from around the country, get insight from top handicappers and analysts, and preview the upcoming week in racing. That's Racing Across America, weekdays at 10, right here on the OTB TV network.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Alongside Seth Merrill, I'm Anthony Mormino. We're taking a look at Gulfstream Park and the Big A this afternoon. We're up to race 6 at Gulfstream Park, and they had more rain overnight. That's why, we saw yesterday the sloppy track, and they had more rain. So I think we can hold on to the idea that they're going to be off the turf officially in just a little while at Gulfstream Park. We're up to race number 6. Fillies and Maris, optional claimers in for 15. Starter allowance 10 on the dirt, racing a mile.
6, 4, 2, and 5. The number 6 is Sonia's Angel. Nice win on the return to Gulfstream last time and likes this track. 5 times in the exacta and 7 starts over the Gulfstream strip. And again, came down from Parks to win very nicely last time. So again, showed that affinity for the track. Horse for a course kind of an angle. Sonia's Angel on top. Daddy's Jewel in the second spot. just seems to be in some pretty good form right now. Near miss second, a win, a near miss third in the last 3 starts, all right here at Gulfstream. So again, this horse right in the right spot on the form cycle and in some pretty good form. Also in some good form is Courtney Ryan, who has been in good form for quite a while. You go back 2 races back, little stakes race, didn't show much there, but other than that, you're seeing 1s and 2s on the page going back to late summer. So again, Courtney Ryan's been in some pretty good form and seems to hold it based on that last win on January 12th. So we'll throw that one in the mix also. In the Gulfstream 6th, 6, 4, 2, and 5.
And as an update, not that that's official, but Mark Henning is tweeting that they're off the turf today at Gulfstream. On to the 7th race with the rails at the popular 108 feet. 5 furlongs, fillies, maiden special weight.
And this is another one of those maiden races where turf or dirt, I'm just going to stick the same. I have it 11, 12, 5, and 8. I'm going to once again do a win place on my top pick, the number 11. I'm going to do a 4-horse exact the box play of the day, and that's turf or dirt. Dirt, I may be a little more cautious. But the number 11 on top, Ruby the Heart Stealer, by Henny Hughes. Henny Hughes, very good first time out of the box.
20 to 1, huh?
Yeah, well, that certainly attracted my attention, but I'm sure that's not going to hold
Sam
up.
Houston.
But yeah, no, I don't think this one's going to win off by a pole at, what was that, 4 to 5 or 6 to 5 that day.
I will say one
20's
thing.
not going to hold.
I will say this, and if it comes up, if the racetrack is like it was yesterday, and obviously you can't hold the morning line Osberger to this, this horse could be like 3 to 1, with this pedigree on here, and Wesley Ward with a firster. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping, as I looked at that,
We all
I was
are.
hoping like 7 or 8. But with Wesley Ward, yeah, and it's also a large field. That's going
always
to make
helps.
a big difference.
Always helps
If
in
it does
betting.
go to the main track and pulls some of these horses out, that's going to make a
Always
difference
helps.
as well. But Henny Hughes on top, Wesley Ward. The dam produced a sibling called Graham 6 that was second in the career debut, then won, then was second again. So
I think I remember Graham 6.
well, it wound up to be a stakes winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was from like just about the first crop of Graham Hall, I think.
2004 full, so it would have been a 3-year-old in 207.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the dam hasn't been quite as productive since. Again, the Graham 6 2004 full, the offspring since.
Her work is
not
done
quite
here.
as. Yeah, exactly. Check that off in the resume and moved on. But we'll hope this one gets back to some of that talent level. I'll put this one on top. Ruby the Heart Stealer. Number 12, More Than a Party in the second spot. This was a beaten favorite last time, so will we get 5 to 1 today? I hope so. Off of that bullet work since. And again, some nice breeding. You have More Than Ready on top. Didn't show it with the move to the turf last time, but we'll see what happens. And the dirt is not going to be a problem because this horse already has a couple of good dirt starts. But the dam produced a sibling called Camp Party, 3rd in the career debut and won. So I think there's precociousness on both sides of the pedigree. 4th career start. We'll see if this one can live up to that. So we'll throw that one in the mix as well. And then Wickedness, the number 5 horse, Warfront on top. I think you have a little bit of nature and nurture here with Mike Hushin training. 6 to 1 on the morning line. Costenia, the number 8 horse, will also get in my mix on the nature and nurture. The trainer showing the trainer to me by name is not familiar to me, I will admit. But according to the daily racing program, not the racing forum, but the racing program stats, the trainer 2 for 2 with first-time starters. So I kind of like that. It attracted my attention a little bit. We'll throw that one into the exacta box as well. So again, same selections, turf or dirt. I'm going to do a play of the day on my top pick, the number 11. I'm going to box up these 4 in an exacta, 11, 12, 5, and 8.
Number 8 is the trainer we're trying to figure out.
I didn't even try the name.
No, and I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good pedigree for this guy to have. It's very good. On to the 8th race, 4-year-olds and up. Claimer is in for 20,000. No other language. Racing on the dirt, the 1-turn mile.
I have it 7, 5, 2, and 3. I will also mention I did not put the 6 in my mix, but as I got down underneath a little bit, 6 was really attracting my attention. That one scares me. If you like that one with Rosario on board, I wouldn't argue at all. But I did put the number 7 on top, Megalith. I think this horse is going to run well at this level. Last time out was at 35,000, showed some speed. and finished a decent fourth in that field. Now comes back for a significant drop to the 20 level, again from 35 last time. So I think Megalith could be tough on the drop. Bar Magic, the number 5 horse, won last and comes right back at the same level. Now, it's not exactly the same. This horse is stretching out, but again, seems to have shown a comfort zone at this 20 level. 7-pound Apprentice on board today. As I mentioned earlier, that for me is a little bit of a concern, but the Apprentice was on board last time and put in a nice closing kick to get it done. So I think Bar Magic will be interesting today. And then in the third spot, Revelationist, just on some class relief. This horse has been racing at 35, optional 50, 35 over the last 3 up at Aqueduct, moves down to 20 today on the move to Gulfstream for Mark Henning. So Revelationist, I think, could be interesting again on the class relief. So as I say, I have it 7, 5, 2, and 3. But again, pay a little bit of attention to the 6. If you're tilting in that direction, I wouldn't argue with that horse at all.
On to the 9th race, where 3-year-old fillies, maiden claimers, in for $25,000, originally scheduled for the turf. I am strongly anticipating 1 mile on the turf.
4, 8, 11, and 7. And again, this is like the other races. It made it easy for me today. With these kind of races and using some first-time starters, I'm just as happy to stick with it if they go one way or the other and kind of trust the trainer to feel like, oh, well, I got first-time starter. I'm just as happy if we move over to the other surface. So I'm sticking same picks one way or the other. 4, 8, 11, and 7. The number 4 is Genteel Citizen. And this is the fresh face. Again, first-time starter in a field of horses that have had a few starts and haven't gotten it done. With Proud Citizen on top, there's a little bit of nature there. There's a little bit of nurture with trainer George Weaver. No numbers are jumping off the page here. And the dam was also a little dicey with the siblings. A sibling called Turkish took 10 starts to win. Another sibling called Tresor Secret took 5 to win over in Europe. So again, it's more that I'm just going with a fresh face in a field of horses that have had some shots. There's a little bit to hang your hat on, but not as much as I would normally like. But in comparison to the rest of the field, we'll take a shot. Excuse me. Second spot, the number 8, Grizzle. Gained some education on the track and in the claiming ranks last time, ran a decent 4th when dropped in for a 35 tag. Get some additional class relief today. Grizzle could be interesting. And then we'll go out to the number 11, Lincoln Cipher. This is a horse that has had 9 tries so far, hasn't gotten it done. But from the outside with the early speed, might try to speed pop him today. Could be kind of interesting on the pace angle. So in the 9th, 4, 8, 11, and 7.
And in the 10th race, I mentioned this set the other day when they ran the Holy Bull, which was a scheduled dirt mile and the 16th race. The vast majority of the mile and 16th races that have been conducted at Gulfstream Park, and we added 2 more to the heap yesterday, have been off the turf. They just don't run a mile and 16 on the dirt. I think the 10th race is going to add to that field. We have fillies and mares. Claimers in for 16. Non-winners at 3 lifetime. Mile and 16.
And I'm going to juggle things up. I have different dirt horses than turf horses. I'll give the dirt in a minute, but just in case we stick on the turf, 10, 11, 9, and 4. The number 10 is Expropriate, who just has had a couple of nice starts. Near miss second place finishes in the last 2 with decent numbers. Looks absolutely logical to me. Monero, the number 11 horse in the second spot, has plenty of early speed. And again, might try to speed pop him. First off the claim for Kirk Zayedi. That also attracts a lot of attention as his numbers there are just about a coin flip. So this is a horse with some proven talent, with some speed, and a very potent first off the claim angle. Now, this one, to me, probably a little bit better on turf, but an off-the-turf race last time. Fated to finish a well-beaten 5th. But did show some early punch, and with the move to the Zaidi stable, may be interesting on either surface today. I don't have it in my dirt mix off of that fade job last time, but keep that in mind. And the number 9, Prickly Pear, also gets some attention with some nice early speed and probably a good fit with the drop to this level. So on the turf in the 10th, on the turf I have it 10, 11, 9, and 4. If they do move over to the dirt, I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to go 5, 3, and 7. Dirt, 5, 3, and 7.
And just before I go to break, this is another example. This is where I found myself, Seth, with Naira 5, 6 years ago. I have Mark Henning, a secondary source, talking about being off the turf today at Gulfstream Park. He's a trainer. His ability to be dialed in, I mean, he's like, there's like less than 1% chance he's wrong. Now I'm going to follow Gulfstream Park. their last tweet was 19 hours ago. And that's where Naira was with their turf course stuff. I don't understand how they are not the primary first disseminator of information. 19 hours ago was the last tweet from Gulfstream Park. So they missed the glorious day yesterday afternoon at Gulfstream Park. And John Velasquez, welcome back to the races. Take a quick break. When we come back, the Big A.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. All here on the OTB TV network.
Wagering at CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Capital Bet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. Capital Bet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. Capital Bet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Thursday morning. Seth Merrill and Anthony Mormito in here. Anthony will now take a look at Aqueduct for this afternoon, which begins with a conditional claimer, $20,000 tags. These are fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 5.5.
You know, I've been doing the inner track for many, many years. I mean, we've had occasions when, hasn't happened in a long time, but Seth, there have been days when they ran only 6 furlongs on the inner dirt track, and now you see 5.5 furlongs popping up far more often than we used to see, and they are limited in New York sprinting. They could, if they wanted to go 5, they can't go any farther than 6. But 5.63 in the opening, and Rosario Martinez, I think he had a double the other day. He takes the mount here, 12.5 off the claim. Last March down at Tampa Bay, coming out of the Sharp Gerald Bennett barn, Jason Service claimed this horse. I doubt he was thinking basically a 10-month layoff for this runner. And Jason Service good first off the claim, but I think you have to sort of toss that out. You're not anticipating this type of layoff. Of course, at Oaklawn Park, I think, over the weekend, they ran 14 out of 18 going 6 furlongs. And Seth, how about this? They had 2 runners win off of an average of 290-day layoff. So the game has changed dramatically. You never would have bet these type of horses, select these type of horses. But I like the 5 with Rosario Martinez at 5-1. Coming out of a Sharp barn for this offspring of Smoke Black and going to the post for the 6th time. For a second, right next door, the starting gate, number 6, Mrs. Bean. Taylor Rice, last time we convened at the Big A, won 4. I think only 1 was the chalk. She won the stakes race with the odds-on favorite. Now she gets the mount for David Jacobson. They found the winner's circle together. This is first off the $20,000 claim in the 3rd career start back in December. For 3rd, number 3, Bobby Barbera sends out Perling, who in the 2nd career start won very impressively at Calder over the summertime. 5, 6, and 3 in the opener.
Race number 2 this afternoon is yet another conditional claimer. This time the tag's $12,500. The trip, 1 mile.
3, 5, 8 will be my selections in here, and Cry Holy. Bobby Barbera, hope maybe be hot at the time, but Manny Esquivel, he gets to mount in here, and I'm going to throw out the most recent effort, just really had no chance. based on the pace, the early part of the race. But now, hopefully, we break better. Going the mile down inside, it could be advantageous, watching the racing on Monday. Overall, I thought that speed horses over the last couple of racing days in New York have, and I'm talking early speed, have been doing very well. But we had a run of about 3 or 4 races in the middle of the card on Monday where horses winning from out of the cloud picked it up. But you draw it down well, racing the mile. Remember, full field size at 10. You start on the turn. We're inside with Manny Esquivel, and that'll be my top pick. For second, number 5, Love the Breeding. Ramon Preciado sends this runner out first off the claim for $15,000 with Angel Arroyo getting the mount today. Co makes the first start since that October 9th claim. For third, number 8, Casual Elegance, talking about Mark Henning, who's tweeting out of South Florida. I'm not positive, but if it wasn't his first client, when he went out his own, Lee Lewis with the familiar turquoise and blue hoop, he was one of Mark's first clients. Then I didn't see him for a long time, but with the addition of blinkers, raced well on their inner dirt track debut. Most recently at this level, lost as the 9-5 favorite behind a 7-length winner. 3, 5, 8 in the second.
Starter allowance in race number 3 at the $40,000 level. These are New York breds. They are, what do we have for an age? 3-year-olds. They're going 6 furlongs.
All right.
Do I have that right?
Part of it, it's not restricted to New York State breds, I don't think. It's the goofy conditions.
Okay. All right. I'm reading out of the book. The conditions are a little bit different than they print in the racing form, but it says or New York bred horses which have broken. So part of the condition does restrict to New York breds, but the entire condition isn't.
I mean, if a 3-year-old's enough who broken their maiden for $40,000 or less, New York bred horses which broken their maiden in a state bred race for $50,000 or less. And I was talking with Jeff Carl the other day, and I hope I didn't say I was going to look it up. I don't think I did, but I didn't. And that is, when I see goofiness like this, and I mean, it's a silly word. It's not an insult. It indicates to me, I'm wondering, were they running state-bred maiden claimers at Saratoga for 50 or more, thus trying to eliminate those horses from this race?
Yeah.
When I see conditions like this, I think it's about keeping horses out, or sometimes it's including certain horses. But when you see this type of delineation where it's so specific, New York bred horses that have broken their maidens in a state bred race for $50,000 or less, I'm wondering if the state bred maiden claimers at Saratoga were 52 and they didn't want them in here. I don't know. But my selections, what I do know, 162. Pete's Fleet gets my top pick first off the claim for the Gary Contessa barn, coming off of the victory. And I've said this many, many, many times before with these New York breds especially. And we're starting to get injured with the price. I embrace the idea of 0 for 7, 0 for 8 victory, taking on winners the first time. Now, it used to be more embraceable because we used to receive a better price. Now we're getting a little bit shorter price. We look at 5-1 on the morning line. Number 1, Pete's Fleet, my top pick for second. The other side of the starting gate, number 6, Bourbon Therapy. David Jacobson, who might not set the NYRA record this year by the Kentucky Derby, sends out this runner for third. Number 2, 3 for me, Dominic Lucio's runner, won by a pole in the career debut with Jose Ortiz in the saddle. And down in South Florida yesterday, Irad Ortiz won.
Yeah,
so we can no longer take the Ortiz brothers multiples versus the shutout, which, by the way, the other day they were shut out, actually.
They made a point of noting that in the paddock commentary, and he got the job done like a good thing in about the middle of the card.
Yes.
Fourth race today at Aqueduct, the maiden claiming event, $16,000 tags. These are 3-year-old fillies. They will travel 5.5.
I know it sounds funny for a guy who grew up, with Cordero and Velasquez and all of them, but I have to tell you, this group of young jockeys that we see in New York, I'm talking Lescano, Luis Saez, who really seems to have hit the go button since the Traverse Stakes. Boy, I'll tell you, there seems to be a very deep group of 20-year-old jockeys in New York. It's great to see. 268, the Deuce goes out for the second career start. First time Lasix, first time in for a tag. The type of debut that I salivate, which is show me a little bit of something, early speed usually, pack it in, decelerate, get beat by a whole bunch of lengths and then come back. Now we get Lasix this afternoon. We drop in for a tag, especially dropping in for a tag. That usually hurts our price a little bit. For second, number 6, Heartfelt Jazz. Kerry Contessa's New York bred dropping down in the claiming dollar because when you ran in New York breds, it's 25, now 16. I know the dollars aren't the same, but you might want to think that this is just a tougher spot. For third, number 8, David Canizao sends out this runner, and off of a good third-place finish at double-digit odds, gets Rajiv Murrah back in the saddle, going 5.5 once again, 2, 6, 8.
The fifth race at Aqueduct today is a claiming event, $50,000 tags. These are 4-year-olds and up. They will go 6 furlongs.
Yes, 7-2-1, ladies and gentlemen. Field of 8 with 7 betting interests here as David Jacobson has a couple runners in here, and both are cross-entered into tomorrow. But Kingsford Drive gets my top pick, Bruce Brown and Manny Franco. And if you're ever going to lose your bug, which can be rough waters when that happens. Maybe the winter time isn't so bad. Of course, we remember Manny Franco's first mount as a journeyman didn't go so bad, but by the end of the day, didn't go so well, but by the end of the day, he had scored a victory. I've been liking this guy going back to May at Monmouth Park, and he's done well in New York. This horse has good tactical speed from the outside. Makes the first start since running on Saturday, December 7th, down at Gulfstream, and I talked about how the track may or may not be playing. For second, the rail horse, number 2, Ravallo, Bruce Levine's runner. A better-than-looks effort most recently when finishing 7th at nearly 13-1 against Tougher. For third, part of the entry is scheduled to break for the number 2 post position. Chucky Lopez scheduled to ride number 1, Brown Forest for David Jacobson. 7-1 in the 5th from the Big A.
All right, we'll take our last break for this hour. When we come back, we'll continue our look at Aqueduct. Stay tuned.
I'm Steve Beck.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're loose on the lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., loose on the lead, Capital OTB.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB television network.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. We will continue now our look at Aqueduct with their 6th race, maiden claiming event, $35,000 tags. These are New York bred 3-year-old fillies. They will go 5.5.
8-2-5 for me, and on the outside, Let Me Rock gets my top pick. Bruce Levine's runner seems to have picked up the paces with the blinkers, or maybe perhaps the experience, but now we get Jose Ortiz keeping them out, going 5.5 once again after the inner dirt track debut for a runner-up position in the most recent. For second, number 2, She's a Sizzler, was claimed for $25,000 out of the Scott Schwartz barn for the powerful Rudy Rodriguez. Somehow lost the first race off the layoff. Doubt they're going to go 0 for 2 with Irad Ortiz getting the shuttle back. For third, number 5, Crazy Over Easy. Linda Rice's first-time starter and offspring of City Zip, going out with Manny Franco in the saddle. 8-2-5 in the 6th.
7th race is another New York bred event, an allowance optional claimer. These are four-year-old and up fillies and mares. They will go 1 mile.
And it's always nice to have an also eligible list in the winter, but a full field of 10. The 11 is an AE when we race the mile on the inner dirt track. 4, 9, and 6 in Gloria Victoria. Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz gets my top pick. 2 starts on the inner, both rooting, won the debut on the inner by a pole, and then took on this level and raced second, beaten a pole as the 3-2 favorite. For second, number 9, 100 Acre Wood. Gary Siaka's runner, been very, very sharp of late. 2 races back in an optional claimer, scored a victory, and then in open allowance ran second. That was 26 days ago with Manny Esquivel in the saddle, who gets the call back. For third, number 6, Princess Mara, going out with Abel Castellano in the saddle. 4, 9, 6.
Race number 8 this afternoon, yet another allowance optional claiming event. Claiming tag $75,000. 4-year-olds and up, they will again go 1 mile.
And in days of yore, when I would do Saturday and Sunday on the Handicappers Report and do NYRA, we went through a winter where the Saturday afternoon stakes races, just about when they started dropping the Sunday stakes races at NYRA, we were consistently having 6-horse fields, and I thought 4 or 5 were live in nearly every single one of them for competitive bounds. That may be the case on Thursday afternoon. I know we have Don Dolce at 6-5 in here, but boy, I'll tell you, it's, you know, if you don't like the layoff horse, number 6, Beauty in the Pulpit, okay, but the rest, 4, 1, 2 for me, and Rush Now gets my top pick. Sovereign Stable and John Terranova, they send out this runner. First off the $50,000 claim, only the 3rd start since before Labor Day. Raced a mile to victory in a 3X race over at Parks, and then came to the inner dirt track and raced very well while finishing off the board on New Year's Day. Rush Now gets my top pick in this afternoon's feature. For second, number 1, Colleen Saylor. This is the Engelhardt operation. Chris Engelhardt sends out this runner, who won the 2 final races at Finger Lakes for this runner, came to the Big A and was runner-up in a stakes race behind a good winner on December 29th. And for third, 6-5, David Jacobson, Cornelio Velasquez, number 2, Don Dolce, who seems to have been a very sharp claim, ran in had 3 consecutive runner-up positions in listed stakes races, and most recently faltered in the evening attire as the water got perhaps too deep. We'll see if this offspring of Maria's Mon is downward cycling or is going to bounce back. I don't think you want to find out that answer at a very short price, and I think that's what you might be faced with Cornelio Velasquez's runner. 4, 1, 2.
In the finale today, race number 9, we have 3-year-old maiden claimers at the $25,000 level, going 3/4 of a mile.
8-2-7 will be my selections in here, and Eddie Keneally sends out the 8 for the 2nd career start. And Eddie Keneally's stats, as reported in the Daily Racing Form, over 20% from a field size of 40 in the 2nd career start runners. And this one, you know, maybe better than you expect with the Eddie Keneally debut runner at nearly 10-1. Well, hopefully we advance forward with the jock back in the saddle. For second, on the rail, number 2, heading to Boca. Boy, you'd certainly think so in this weather. A nice debut for a tag, and then the reasonable effort the next month where you go to maiden special weights, and that just was an awful start. And I think, you know, there's just sometimes the math doesn't add up to me. Dominic Schettino debuts this horse for 50, runs 3rd, and then does a very reasonable thing, runs in maiden special weights, comment in the Daily Racing Form, lunged at the start, no factor. All right, well, let's throw that race out. But not only that, you come back for a maiden claiming tag of half your debut where you raced well. I don't get it. For third, number 7, Shanks for nothing. Claimed in the debut, makes the 3rd career start this afternoon for the powerful Jeremiah Engelhardt. 8-2-7 in this afternoon's finale from the Big A on this Thursday afternoon. We got Gulfstream Park up and running. We'll take a quick look at the television schedule this afternoon. Get my faraway glasses. The Big A, 12:25, followed by Gulfstream And those two will dance around for a while by themselves before we get to the fairgrounds. Oaklawn Park, the procession of 6 furlong races over the weekend. And I was telling Seth you had the 2 Arkansas-bred races where the horses were coming off for nearly 290 days, light up the board. Northfield Park, Penn National, Delta Downs, Yonkers, and later on this evening, racing from Australia, A and B. And if you missed any of Seth or my selections, we invite you to go to the capitalotb.com and you click on the Handicappers Report. And just a quick note, the gentleman who many, many moons ago dressed up the Handicappers Report page, it used to look rather docile, a bunch of numbers and a hyphen, looks a lot better today. And Ed over with Capital Off-Track Betting unfortunately left us far too soon, and our condolences go out to his family. So just take a moment when you click on the Handicappers Report. It's slickness, which is meant as a compliment, is thanks to that young man's work going back about 3 years ago. So you go to capitalotb.com, click on the Handicappers Report, the Today version, and get all set selections of Gulfstream and mine for the Big A. Also, capitalotbbet.com, our state-of-the-art wagering platform at Capital Off-Track Betting. Set up an account, go to the site, watch races, watch replay, play this great game of ours. Is hopefully pretty soon we'll get to Groundhog Day, we'll get the Super Bowl. Hopefully it'll be a cloudy day in Punxsutawney. The little rodent won't see his shadow, and away we go to spring, because we don't have a lot of snow, but man, has it been cold like my youth. Seth, who do you have on Racing Across America up next?
Today it is John DeSilva, RacingCludo.com. We'll take a little look at New York racing. We also have Dave Rodman from Laurel. We'll look back at
see if he was there yesterday.
Yeah, we'll look back at some of the stakes last Saturday as well, and get some thoughts for this afternoon. And Frank Maramati from Oaklawn. We'll take a look at some.
Trevor
of their
McCarthy,
actions as well.
Big day yesterday, and really showed some moxie coming up into the rail, etc. at Laurel. But it'd be interesting if Dave says, "Yeah, that was me," I'd be like, wow, swing and a miss for me, but didn't sound like that. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, Racing Across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.